Hello friends, this is Mohammed Isar Khan. Welcome to day 8 of learning the day 8 of the 21-day learning SQL challenge. And as you know from the couple of previous videos that we struggled once we approached the CTEs, the common table expression in Windows function, and I struggled because I was burning 2 hours just to solve one question, and the problem was that even despite doing that, there was minimal learning. The learning was not good because the concept, the core concept, even after practicing the question or taking so much time to solve that question, there wasn't anything clicking to my mind. There wasn't, a thing which was striking in my mind, or understanding. It wasn't developing my understanding. So what I took an approach was that instead of using 2 hours for just one question without hints, I asked ChatGPT about uh, because once I was to completing one question in 2 hours, suddenly the frustration starts to set in because despite utilizing 2 hours, you weren't able to solve the questions properly, or you weren't able to understand the question after once it's done. You were forgetting it, and that was the recurring problem. So, and I had to take 3 4 days break because of that frustration, because there was no learning here. I was reading, I was listening to tutorials, listening to materials, and the whole time I realized that the CTEs are very advanced version of, are quite the advanced, are the, what you can say, the pinnacle of SQL. Okay, Windows function and the CTEs. So you should know about the layering, and then I decided that I should continue it again after 3 4 days break. And I think this is discipline, and I had to take this break because it allowed me to focus on where the problem was, and this was the problem, I think, for now. As you remember that in the previous videos when we started, the ChatGPT used to give me hints also about certain light hints, which enabled me to practice my syntax very much better. My syntax got improved. My understanding of picking the topic was also improved, and I was solving in 2 hour session minimum questions, four minimum questions at least. Now with the problem with the last few videos was that I was only solving uh, I was only solving one question, yeah, and I was consuming 2 hours, and there was no learning in it. And after some break, I came to a conclusion in my thinking that might be the problem, because now I'm in an advanced version. I need the hints to move forward. As I said that I discussed it with ChatGPT, my mentor here at this point, and I told ChatGPT that the hint methodology which we were using at the beginning of this lecture or the journey um, will continue from day 8 because I am struggling with CTEs and only managed to answer one question in 2 hours. Do you think my decision is correct? Evaluate it critically. I told him to reintroduce the hints, and I also told him to evaluate my decision critically if I am right or wrong. Now, the short answer he gave me that your decision is correct. Executive answer was that it is not just correct, it is necessary at this stage. It means that it was necessary at this stage. And now he says that now let's talk about critical evaluation. No fluff, man. Okay, no fluff. Okay, your observation is accurate. That is normal. Okay, because I'm struggling with CTEs. Okay, that is normal, and more importantly, it is diagnostic. Okay, CTEs plus Windows function are where syntax knowledge and an execution order understanding begins. Okay, because the CTEs and Windows function does not only require syntax knowledge, because even after syntax knowledge, where it ends, the execution order understanding begins, and you need to. Okay, now, so day 8 has officially begun, and we have our first question here. The first question says it's a business question. Management wants to see a 3 year rolling average of total sales by year to smooth out volatility. Okay. So the management wants to see a 3-year rolling average of total sales by year to smooth out volatility. Okay. Now what are the options which have given that this cannot be done in a single select? Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. There was okay. And you will need two logical steps. So friends, here we are, and I have written this query according to the couple of the hints from the ChatGPT. But the main thing was because I was doing it after 4 days break, so I've kind of forgot the how to even aggregate it, and I also started to just rethink some of these decisions. I started to remind myself of how to solve these questions. So I just took the help of Gemini here, just to focus on work on the rolling average, how to work on the how to work with the rolling average, uh, because the formula wasn't clear to me. So yeah, hence I had to you know I had to ask from the Gemini here, and Gemini gave me the answer. And for as far as the aggregation is concerned, I also took some help from Gemini, but this was obviously the first question after 4 days break, so it kind of gave me the boost. It kind of started to click at some point, and it will be working on. It will help me smoothen my understanding now. Now what I have done here that I have made, first of all, I've used this from. I always use from fact internet sales. That from fact internet table I have selected the calendar year as sales year and the sum sales amount as total sales, and then I have used join this calendar year on this. I have joined together, and then I have grouped them by to calculate my aggregation. Okay. Now once my aggregation is complete, I have used the with function. Now what does the with function do? With function has made this whole query, this whole upper part, as a CTE. Now after the CTE, what do I want from the CTE? From yearly sales, I need the sales year. Okay. I need the total sales. Okay. And then I need the average of these. After sharing my code with ChatGPT says this is correct, and I will tell you why briefly, clinically, and precisely. Now this was our code which we have written, rows between two and preceding current rows. Okay. Why this meets corporate standards? Correct decomposition. Step 1, annual aggregation, fact to date. Okay, fact table to date, dimension table. Step 2, rolling metric over ordered years. Okay, rolling metric over ordered years, and also the correct window frame. Rows between two preceding and current rows, exactly a 3-year rolling window. Okay, correct grain, one row per year, revenue not units. Okay, SQL server compliant, no analytical mistakes, no syntax issues. This is board deck ready SQL. Okay, now important signal, learning evaluation. You said earlier you were struggling with CTEs. This query proves the struggle is integration, not understanding. Once given the right structure, you execute cleanly. Hence, remove friction without removing thinking. Okay, this validates day 8 decision. Okay, okay. So this is right. The code which we have written right. Before I told you that I think so it is wrong. It is not wrong. And I thought that when it is asking for 3 years rolling average, I thought personally that it wants to know, it would be giving me 3 years data for only 3 years, but it is not the case. So I asked Gemini that what does the result for a 3 years rolling average looks like when you have 5 years data in MS SQL. Okay, now I'm asking him that what does how does it looks like. So it says that results looking like using logic rows between two preceding and current rows. Now here you can see that for 5 years, with 5 years data, which I also have. Now it is saying that when you have a 3-year rolling average, you calculate, you divide it by 3. Okay, for the continually, first, two, and then third, and then you have to divide. Now, okay, so this is the result, example result. It matches my result, so that means that whatever results I have given here at ChatGPT. So now what question 2 says, for each product, management wants to see how this year's sales compare to the product's historical average sale. Okay. Hint, intentional limited. This requires two aggregation. The comparison is product level. Think yearly product sales, long term average. Final output should include your final output should include year. So question 2 of the day 8, we have come up with this solution where I have written the query with some help from the Gemini as hints. And what I have done here is that it was simple. It is just one addition. It is similar to the what I have done for the question 1. This the query is similar to that, but here only the difference is that we are taking also the product and the date. Okay, so we have calculated everything. We have created a CTE here if you can read it. Question 2, what ChatGPT has to say. ChatGPT has successfully evaluated my query and this is the results, and it is saying that I have used the correct grain isolation, that one row per product, correct window partition, partition by product name mandatory, and you got it. Correct business logic, okay. Running historical average, not future leaking, okay. Correct placement of window function, oh yes. Now the select clause only, you fixed earlier mistake. This query would pass a data engineer review. Okay. Now minor corporate notes, not errors. Order by years in the final select. Okay, fine for readability. Now order by and final we typically do product name in years. Okay. So just have to change the product name, which I have changed. And then the product. Okay. Okay, the spelling for the products are wrong here. Product sales. Okay. Product sales. Okay. Now only just minor touch-ups. Now the critical evaluation of day 8 decision. Do you think my decision to bring back hints is correct? Yes, and here's why bluntly. CTEs plus window function are conceptual staking problems. Removing hints too early, test memories, not reasoning. Causes time sync without. So day 8 question 3, which is the last one for today. The business question says management wants to flag years where a product sales were below its historical average. Okay, constraint. Use your existing logic, no new tables, no new tables, output product, years, historical sales, different sales, average. Only return where sales are below the average. You have all pieces now. Proceed. Okay, use your existing knowledge, existing logic. So just paste it. Oh, not this one. It says that use your use your existing logic. So I have pasted this logic with me in my notepad. Let's take this logic from here, copy, and then we will paste it here. Here, okay. Just paste it. So it's saying that use your existing logic. The some deliberation and some thinking and regarding question 3 I have come up with because it said that only to use my existing knowledge which was already there. So I just applied the where filter here, where yearly sales are less than the historical average, and I think so it only like asks. Yeah, so I asked ChatGPT for the well, friends, I asked ChatGPT for its comments, and ChatGPT says that it is rejected for a precise and correctable reason, and it is saying that this is the same class of mistake you hit earlier, and it is saying that it's also good that it is showing up because this is where SQL maturity logs in. Okay. Now the question is why your query failed. My query failed because of a non-negotiable rule. Because I put a filter, yearly sales is less than historical average so far. So historical average is a window function result created in select clause. Okay. So this is an execution order, man. Okay, there's a problem with the execution. I kind of forgot it. Okay, so the execution order matters from where. So at the time when where run here, historical average did not exist. Okay, this is not an opinion. This is how SQL engine works. Okay. Now the correct corporate pattern required. Okay, you must calculate first, filter later. You must calculate first and filter later. It's a great learning point. That means aggregate. Okay, I have done the aggregation part. Then CTE2, apply window function. You have applied your window function and outer cube, then filter. Okay, okay. So it is saying that once you aggregated a function, okay, then you have applied the window function means this hour and partition using the CTE, and then you have to write another query where you will apply the filter on it. You cannot apply the filter on the same CTE inside the CTE. Okay, now the correct version, production grade, everything is right. Product. Okay, so it's comma. It is written here, and the only problem is whatever it is written here. For example, applying the filter and the outer query, it is applied the filter here, okay, in the outer query, and it is added some basics to it, which I understood. I knew my mistake, and it was that the logical intent was a problem. Okay,